It's June 27th, 2021. Gonna do our weekly garden tour. We've got a lot done this weekend. It's really hot today too, so definitely feeling it right now. It's pretty late. I think it's like 7:30, so we'll see how the lighting does tonight. We got the first of two long double 8-in-1 Birdies raised beds installed finally. Getting it level was a pain in the butt, or as close as possible, I should say. And then we need to order more supports for that. The cross beams that go cross rods. So we'll be ordering probably another 4 for this bed that we've already installed, and we'll plan to dig those down in and put them in the fall before the frost, when we transition the beds over and clean them up. The cattle panels went together really well. We fit 4 of them with overlap. The bed's just shy of 16 feet, and if we had put them with no overlap, 1, they wouldn't be as sturdy, but 2, it would have been 16 and change when you add it up. Jace did a great job though. He ended up zip tying the top there, you can see, to make it so the arch is really, really nice and consistent. The T-posts were not easy going into the hard pack here. And the fill underneath the gravel we'd applied, but that's part of it. And then we did the zip ties first because that was convenient, and then we went back and added in the actual wires we got from Tractor Supply, which was I think blood, sweat, and tears might have gone into that part of it. Let's put it that way. So I did just plant this bed. It's a little risky, fully admit that. I had all these starts, and then all of our extra peppers that had been hanging out for a while, looking a little unhealthy. We're getting root bound, putting fruit out. I wanted to get those in the ground before we have these next 4 days of 90 degrees. So we're in Massachusetts, zone 5b. Most of these peppers I did start in our basement this winter, and then brought them out to the greenhouse, and then brought them out here. So I have pole beans also. I started just probably maybe 4 weeks ago, and cucumbers. And so I'm doing every other plant will be a bean or a cucumber, or every other row. I'm doubling up on the pole beans, which is going to be a little bit crazy, because they will fight to get up first. And so I've got inside and outside planted here. And then most of the cucumbers are actually planted on the outside here. These were kind of a mixed grouping of peppers. It's whatever I had left. A lot of the labels were wrong or not on there. These plants here I did purchase. So you can see they're Italian frying pepper. Don't mind the hands, I've been playing in dirt all afternoon. We've got some Thai chilies. I'm guessing a super chili, a serrano. I'm guessing this is also a serrano. Then we've got some cayennes. This should be also, I'm guessing, a cayenne. Jalapeno, it looks like. This is probably a bell pepper. Not really sure. It could be something else, but the way the leaves are and the buds, I'm guessing it's a bell pepper. These are pepperoncinis. I'm guessing another bell pepper. And these should be the tridents, the poblano anchos. And then just a regular poblano here, I think. It might be a regular bell pepper, but it smells like a poblano, so I'm guessing poblano. So that's the row. Oh, and I did do a second set of peas that I started too. So the peas will be in between the beans, and then I'll pull the peas once they die off, if I can get them out. But the goal here with the raised bed is to actually, the last one that we have, we may wait. We've got a couple things going on over the next bit, and we've got a lot of catching up to do on some of the other work, because we've been focusing on the gardens out here. We need to do, we'll actually build out the bed out here around the arch. But right now it actually looks fine, and though I would use the growing space, because I'll use any space I can get, I don't actually need it right now. So everything is in the ground that needs to be right now. I am going to plant a row of carrots also, maybe 2 rows of carrots up here in the front. So, but I'm going to wait for probably next weekend and do that, end of the week. The other big update is I got russet potatoes planted finally. So everything with straw, these grow bags here, all have russet potatoes in them. And then these 3 will be probably beets and dill and some other quick crop, short crop. And then the whiskey barrel is just here sitting there holding all the excess hay for now. Got the wildflower bins over here. I was trying to put flowers at the ends and lightly mixed in to every bed where I could for marigolds or other things. So I moved these over here. So potatoes. These ones are the Norwood. They're doing pretty well. They're budding now, which is great. The beans do not look healthy, the bush beans that I planted around them. But they are getting a little bit better. I trimmed the potatoes back, one for getting a bunch of the potato bug eggs and larvae off of them so that they wouldn't multiply crazy. And then I also will allow me to get to the beans and fertilize them and get them some more sun so they can be happier. The asparagus we planted this year is absolutely gorgeous. I'm not sure if it'll show up on the camera well, but the flowers are actually opened. So this is a really small bed for asparagus. And I think we have something that keeps coming in here. But I will have to see how this goes and make sure that it's not getting eaten or anything. We've got some really nice anchos in some of these grow bags. I really need to fertilize these a little bit more. Maybe foliar spray or something like that. We've got some dill here going to seed. We've got a lot of ladybugs on here and caterpillar are starting to come out, so you have to be really careful when you're washing your dill for eating. I did dry some already as well. More anchos. Some of these are really nice shape, so that's kind of cool. We've got, this is, I think this might be the biggest ancho. Speaking about that, which is good. The mustard is starting to go to flower, which is great. We actually weren't eating this as mustard greens. We were actually hoping to get mustard seeds, which is the flower, so we can make our own mustard from the mustard seeds. There's a bunch of guajillos back here. That's one of the beets in the kale bed bag. And then we've got peas, which we had our first one yesterday. They're getting closer here. We did have, you can see over here, there's some black aphids that we have to deal with on here. They really seem to like the borage and they like the peas. I haven't seen much of them on anything else. The cosmos is starting to bloom. This is going to be a really gorgeous whiskey barrel when it's all going. And the zinnias are starting to bud also, which is great. These are the golden beets that we purchased and transplanted into the grow bags. They're doing pretty well, so excited about that. This is a bag of carrots here, doing pretty good. Over here we've got all the potatoes that are blooming, which is great. They've been blooming now for almost a week. More coming every day. These ones are the red chieftain potatoes. So that's good. We got this tomato trellis up, I think it was Monday last week maybe. I can't even remember what day it was anymore. We have one more to do, which was on our goals for this weekend, and we didn't get to it. I still have the borage moved out as and have moved a couple of them around to spread them out even more as we expand the garden. The bell peppers are amazing. I cannot believe how well they're doing right now. They just look so healthy. And there's 32 of them in this 8-in-1 raised bed. It's like bell peppers is all you can see. So I'm really excited about them. And I was getting really nervous because we didn't have a new freezer yet, so that we could have a place to put the bell peppers. Because there's no way we're eating this many all at once. But there's 3 different types, if I didn't mention that. There's 3 different types here. But our freezer got delivered on Saturday morning, so we have that plugged in. It's ready to go, which is going to be really good. The cayennes are also doing really, really well. See, some of them are getting really long. So we do a lot with the cayennes. We put them in salsas, fresh salsas. We can them in salsas. We put them in our red pepper flake. We do hot sauces with them. Some of the red sauces, we put those in with some of the super hot peppers as well to give it a little bit more pepper and a little better flavoring, as well as get the heat from the super hots. And we also will ferment these because Frank's Red Hot is made with fermented cayenne. So Jay's favorite thing in the world is buffalo chicken wings, I figure. So probably loves those more than me at this point. And the sauce he made last year has been sitting for a while. We tried it the other day. It's very good. So that will be on the agenda as soon as those turn red. So it's good. More of the marigolds are starting to open, which is great too. I got the little lettuce starts in here. It was so cute. I was worried about them today with the heat. They're not wilting at all, which is good. And I've got more carrots. It's pretty much putting carrots and onions throughout anywhere I could fit them, which is a different style gardening than I've done in the past. And definitely inspired by a few YouTubers. But the nice thing about it is that they serve their purpose and they fit really nicely. So they do 2 things. And like putting lettuce starts all over the place, they don't mind being shaded by the tomatoes a little bit, or the basil, which I can show you over here, actually likes a little bit of the shade from the tomatoes. And there's a reason why it's such a good companion plant. So these ones are going to be fun. I've got them close to the top already because we're doing a shorter from ground to, or from soil to top, because I didn't want to go over 6 feet. So I still wanted to be able to reach up and touch it and do it without having a step stool or a ladder out here. So we will be doing lower and lean method on these sooner than, well, I guess the race is probably on, but sooner than the ones over here. Although these are getting very, very big. Let's see, tomatoes are looking gorgeous over here. Those were big beef. These are the Cherokee Carbons. The nasturtiums are going crazy. I think it's the daikon radishes. These are the ones from Epic Gardening. He sent them after we bought the raised beds from I think it's San Diego Seed Company. I'm I will try to put the link on there. So that's kind of fun. We've never grown those before, so I'm interested to see if we even like them. They're like a white radish. Some of these tomatoes, you can see the holes. That's actually because they were doubles and they're kind of growing into each other. So heirlooms have that happen a lot, but you kind of just let them continue to grow. There's a couple over here that are monsters. You can see. Look at that guy. So big. I probably need to double string this plant. You can look at the weight. That probably has a good 4 pounds of tomatoes on it. The one back there, I already did a double line on that one. I think that was this past week. The days and weeks are blending together. And I just love showing all of these tomatoes on this one plant. So this is double stringed also, which is probably going to be needed. I wouldn't be surprised if one of the strings broke. So having a backup is never a bad thing. Back here we've got 2 of the cherry tomatoes and then the beefsteak here. And this is kind of the failure, but I would say it's still a success. It was an experiment to see how early we could be eating summer squash. And we've had summer squash maybe 5-6 times already in the year, and most people in this area don't even have any yet. So, and we had good amounts for 2 to 3 people. Actually, a couple meals were 4 people eating them, but the bugs are now completely killed that plant, really. So we need to bag that, and I say bag it. I will actually put it in a black trash bag, carbonous trash bag, to contain the bugs within it, so I don't just dump it into the compost pile. The cucumbers are still actually coming. Jay just had, I think, 3 for lunch. These are just the little guys, but we definitely have bug issues on them as well. So we're going to be tenting all the cucumbers that we just planted over in the long bed. We'll get that tented. That'll be good, and we'll tent that until they start flowering. The poppies, they're all closed for the evening, but I love the mix of colors, and I'd actually like the look of the borage. I just don't love the fact that it attracts a lot of bugs, and it's prickly. I'm just not a big fan of prickly plants. So that's the update over here. Oh, I should show you one of my favorite kind of odd flowers, and it's the first time growing it. It's the bells of Ireland. Look at those flowers. They're almost like a snapdragon on the insides. So they're just long stalks of green flowers or green, I guess, cones with, or bells with the white flowers inside. So that was a fun little experiment. We got the garlic bed transitioned over, which is good. So serranos and mostly jalapenos, but there's a serrano, a Thai, and I'm not sure what the other one is, but the rest are jalapenos are in here. And then the 2 strawberries are still going. The peppers, I really need to weed this bed. It's got to be on my list. I started pruning it last night. So some of them are nicer. They are definitely thirsty at this point. It was 100 plus in here today. There's our first habaneros on that plant that I found when I was pruning. But everything's looking pretty healthy, considering all the heat. We've got guajillos and Thais and Burmese birds, cayennes, pepperoncinis, serranos, jalapenos, Over here on this bed, Sugar Rush, Primatalis, let's see, Lavas, 7-Pot Primo, Reapers, Ghosts, Death Spirals, 7-Pot Jonah, and then there's some Thai basil mixed into with regular basil, and the marigolds in here are about to bloom. So those are all budded, which is really good. And then we've got the 2 tomato plants here that are continuing to grow. This one is taller than me now. I swear I thought it was shorter than me yesterday, so he is growing like crazy. We have 40% shade cloth on, and so I have a feeling that that's part of the reason this one is growing so fast. But if you look at that vine, it is a true vine at this point, the way we're growing these. It's just fascinating. Up here we have Fatalis, Primatali. Oh, this is one of the tomatoes that I knocked off, and it's been growing in this pot now for probably about a week. So it's perched back up here. Obviously less water up at the top at this point in the evening when it's 100 degrees in here. So I'll be watering all of this later. We've got the bush beans that took over the spot from the spinach, the lettuce. It's doing well. Which, we're picking it every few days. So that's pretty much my lunch every day. Everything's looking really nice and healthy for the most part. Pretty happy with the status of how things are doing. I definitely need to get in here and water. And we might foliar feed in here as well tonight. I just did about a 20-minute water, so this will show some water on here. So I just turned it off. We've got the sprinkler set up right here. This is mostly Romas. You've got some marigolds, sunflowers here on the end. Got tomatillos that aren't doing very well, but they don't get probably enough sun for them because they're right behind the tree trunk. And then we've got our corn. So there's 4 rows of sweet corn and then 1 row of Bloody Butcher, which is a field or dent corn, which we'll use for cornmeal, and hopefully we're going to try to use it for cornmeal. But that's the status. You can see all the sunflowers are doing really well. These are the first ones I planted. And then pumpkins. The watermelon, I don't know if he's going to make it. It's a little sad. And then we've got more summer squash over here.